People will often ask me, what's your profession or what's your career? And I like to respond by saying, first and foremost, my number one responsibility is husband to my wife and father to my children. But what happens in a day and age where so many people have bad relationships with their fathers? And I think it's a crying shame that we don't have more dads out there who can be real men, who can be tender and loving, not just angry all of the time or you know, business focused and driven, or as the case may be, only excited when their football or cricket team is winning. That's challenging because it speaks to the core of who we are. It speaks of identity. A person's identity is not just, oh, this is who I am, this is my name, this is my height, this is my skin color, this is my hair color, my eye color, and we describe the characteristics, or maybe even go one step further and say, these are my, you know, personality characteristics or my qualifications and careers or interests and talents. But who we are is actually defined by whose we are. So if your father, you know, passes away and leaves an inheritance for you, before you can claim that inheritance, you not only have to demonstrate who you are, you have to assert who he is. So who you are is actually caught up in your identity with your father. So many times men will come into the psychology clinic, and not just men, but also ladies as well, saying that relationship doesn't exist, and as a result, I don't feel as though I can relate to man, and I can't relate to God, because God is supposed to be some kind of a father figure, you know, God the Father, and because I don't have a good relationship with my, you know, earthly father, I don't feel as though I can relate in any way to some kind of heavenly father. And what do you do with that? The challenge for most people is really to learn how to reconcile my past in order to get on with my future. If I continue to take with me all of the emotional baggage of the hurts and the pains and the disgruntlement and the bitterness and the resentment that I have towards my earthly father, then I am literally hampered. I'll always be looking back. But if you drive any vehicle, a boat or a car, while looking backwards, you're absolutely guaranteed to crash. We need to learn how to let go of our hurt, pain, bitterness and resentment, and we do that through forgiveness, by literally saying, this day I will no longer meditate on the things that are nasty. I will no longer curse, nurse and rehearse all of the bad stuff. Instead, today I'm going to focus on the future, and I'm going to let that stuff go. Not for tomorrow, not for next week or next month, but just for today. I'm not going to rehearse it anymore. I'm going to let it go so that I can get on and take the first step into my future. But it doesn't end there. We can find new meaning. We can find identity in a father who loves us unconditionally. So even though we might have had an earthly dad whose love was conditional, who only ever, you know, showed us affection or, you know, approved of us if we were perfect in our behavior, well, this heavenly father, should I say, he's completely the opposite. He says, in fact, it doesn't matter what you do. There is nothing that you can do that could make me love you any more or any less. I just love you. Your relationship with me is not dependent on what you do. Your relationship with me is dependent on who I am, so that his identity is then infused in us. And that's a huge thing for people to have. It is reported in research that people who have a deep and sustaining relationship with a heavenly father, so in other words, they believe in a God who actually loves them, they are protected and bolstered against many of the mental health issues that people face today.